Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and divine honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh called from Great Millstone, Orlando. And just a topic that I've been meditating on for a few days, dealing with how when it comes to the top enemy of faith, all right, fighting the enemy of faith, which is doubt. You see, which Esau, the so-called white man, preys off of Jacob's confidence. All right, because a man with confidence, and even more so an Israelite man that's plugged back in to the source, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's the number one threat to Esau in his system. All right, and the society. All right. So, like it says in 2 Edges 14, casting off the burdens of man. All right. Hebrews 12:1. Let us lay aside the thoughts that weigh on us the most. Roughly paraphrasing. You know, again, these are all things that we've learned, we've adapted under the rudiments of Esau. So coming back into who we are, our true nature. All right. You know, a part of our nature is walking in the confidence of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. You know, which, with that being said, what's that? St. John 16. Because this is the main thing that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, all the lessons that we learn as we're in the spiritual wilderness all over again. The main lesson, the top lesson, is faith. All right, complete trust and dependency on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because as the scripture said, there's nothing more pleasing to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai than our faith. All right, we want to be found faithful. You know, faith being so precious. Like Yahushai said, when the Lord comes, when he comes, will he find faith on earth? Right? St. John 16:7. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. Why is it? So to say, more necessary, more needful for Yahushai to not physically be here. As much as we would want him to physically be here, but why would it be more needful and necessary for him to not be here physically? Well, if he was physically here, believing would be easy. All right, everyone would believe. But with that being said, you know, people would be around for the wrong reasons. And as we see that now going on, more and more Jakes falling out, more and more Jakes taking their hand off the plow, going back into the world because they're never had faith in the first place, you know. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, he's just weeding them out. But the faith of the elect is being drawn out and is being strengthened. You see, because again, if Yahushua was physically here, everyone would believe. You know, and again, a part of why this thing is so precious, right? Being that it's been given to lowly men, all right? Men of what would appear to be to these people who don't have no understanding, men of no of no stature, all right? You know, just lowly men, all right, as we are counted as fools for Hamashiach's sake, right? You know, this truth is so precious. The Lord hid it in plain sight. You see, because if someone like LeBron James or Jay-Z was teaching this truth, then everyone would believe. And again, the Lord wants to see who's really about him. So that's why, out of all things, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, he requires our faith. So that's why it was more necessary for Yahushai to not physically be here, right? Like I said again, nevertheless, I'll tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. So you see, and again, because it is a special gift of faith. It is a special gift, all right? Because what is faith? Is seeing without believing. All right, everyone has faith in something. People went to bed last night believing, having faith, knowing that they were going to get up this morning. Right? You know, that direct deposit before it hits. You know, you get to a point where you don't even check because you know it's going to hit. Right? You know, sitting there questioning the boss, am I going to get paid? No, you know it's going to hit. You know, so everyone has faith in something. Like I said, this morning, people are getting up, going to work, waiting on the bus stop, right? They don't see the bus coming, but they know it's coming, right? That's faith. So everyone has faith in something. And again, Yahweh Shema Shai, he wants to see who's really going to be about him. Pursuing the wisdom of Solomon 1:1. Learning to love Yahweh Shema Shai, right? St. John 4, the Lord is looking for the true worshipers to worship him in sincerity and in truth. Who's really going to be about him? Because at that point when Yahweh Shai is here and the kingdom being established, faith won't be required at that point. And that's why those men will be so, the elect men being commended so greatly, because they stood stiffly for the names of Yahweh Shema Shai against all odds, against all circumstances. All right. Those men, they stood on faith. You see, and again, there's nothing more pleasing to Yahweh Shema Shai. And this is, again, the culture that we're coming back into, the remembrance of who we are. All right. You know, which this is the whole duty of a man. All right. You know, to trust, to lean on, to worship Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, and that's part of the commandments. You know, loving the Lord with all of our soul, our might, our strength, with everything that we got. You know, so it's all in on Yahweh Shema Shai, because at the end of the day, that's all we have. All right, that's all we have. And again, it is a fight. You know, make no mistake about it, it is a fight. Believing is hard, man. Believing in Yahweh Shema Shai is hard. It's not easy whatsoever. But if you're the elect, hey, you don't have a choice. And I don't say that as I don't say that as if it's some sort of a burden, you know, because hey, man, when has the Lord ever done us wrong? You know, we have these accounts, we have these scriptures. I'm gonna go to this, Romans 15:4, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. You see, just again, how our forefathers moved. All right. It says that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. So you see, we're subject to hope. All we have is hope. All we have is faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. And quite frankly, that's all we need. All right, because according to these accounts, so I read this, these accounts, these scriptures that we have, which is not some fairy tale, you know, these are our records. All right. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? You know, all these accounts that we read about, these scriptures that we read about, the Lord stands undefeated. All right. The Lord stands undefeated. You see? So, again, being that, I'm going to read it again. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. And again, what was the overall message? Faith. All right. That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. Because again, in patience, which patience is equated to suffering. Because again, it's not easy. You know, it's not easy. You know, but again, look at the generations of old, you know, our forefathers, our foremothers. And according to these accounts that we have, has the Lord ever failed? Has the Lord ever done those wrong that called on him in sincerity and in truth? Absolutely not. All right, so this is the hope, this is the faith that we are subjected to. And again, it's not a burden whatsoever. Because, hey, man, you know, Yahweh Shema Shai is all we need, man. We at this point, we can say we've been there, we've done that. Just as far as, you know, pertaining to trusting in this world, the system, right? Esau, right? We've been there and done that. And It's never done us any good. No progression or anything. You take 2 steps forward just to take 10 steps back. It's just this system has always failed us. Esau, he's always let us down. So again, when I say being subjected to hope, it's not a burden. All right, all we want is Yahweh Bashem Shai. Cleaving onto Yahweh Bashem Shai. That's all we have, man. While this world has everything but Yahweh Bashem Shai, all we have, we don't have nothing but Yahweh Bashem Shai, and that's all we need. All right. So this is a part of our exercise, our training. First nature. All right. It becomes a thing of first nature. This is a part of what we're learning in this thing of ours. All right. Making Yahweh Bashem Shai first nature, calling on Yahweh Bashem Shai just first nature, because where's that? Make no mistake about it. We are in the flesh. All right. So we're gonna have those moments. All right, but hey, always revert back to your training. Initially, the flesh is gonna think certain things. The flesh is gonna doubt, but we're being exercised in the spirit. All right. Psalm 56:3, because again, we have these accounts to learn. It just gets to a point you become an embodiment of this word. So this is why oftentimes you see brothers, man. Quoting scriptures a lot. All right. Because brothers just again, we just embody this. We embody the word. Brothers quote scripture so much. We just embody the word, man. And when certain situations come up, man, we filter everything through the scriptures. All right, because again, we become an embodiment of this word, as Yahweh Shai was and is the embodiment of the word. Right, we embody Yahweh Shai. All right, and it is a thing of tapping into Yahweh Shai. And that's the thing about our accounts, our records. The Lord left the good, the bad, and the ugly. Unlike Esau, he only showed you the good parts, right? Which even the good parts he stole. All right. But Yahweh Bashem Shai, he left the good, the bad, and the ugly. He left it all on the table. You see, even when Yahweh Shai had those moments of doubt, fearfulness and things of that nature, nevertheless, he held on to his faith. All right, subjected himself to the will of Yahweh Bashem Shai. Because we're gonna have those moments, right? Psalm 56:3. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. So you see, it's about reverting back to our training. All right, Yahweh Shai becoming first nature. Calling on Yahweh Bashem Shai, it becomes first nature. All right, first nature. And as I read and throughout the scriptures, patience in those moments when we're changed to a lowly estate. Hey, patience. Hey, Yahweh Bashem Shai. Right, check engine light comes on. Hey, Yahweh Bashem Shai. Because initially, things happen, things come up. Get that eviction notice, whatever the case may be, man. Hey, initially the thoughts or the flesh feels one thing, starts to doubt or whatever, starts to panic or worry. But hey, revert back to your training. It just becomes a thing of, hey, Yahweh Bashem Shai becomes first nature, and this is what we're learning. Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. Romans 12:12. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. So you see, man. All right. Like I said, in any and all things, man. Hey, Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, Yahweh Bashem Shai, man. All right, because what else can you do? What else is there to do? Where else is there to go? All right, I always say, man, Yahweh Bashem Shai, he has us all right where he wants us. All right, I pray to the Lord every day. Lord, you got me right where you want me. So what's there to worry about at this point? You get to a point where, what's there to worry about? What's there to worry about, man? I read that in the A and P. It says, constantly rejoicing in hope because of our confidence in Hamashiach, steadfast and patient in distress, devoted to prayer, continually seeking wisdom, guidance, and strength. So you see, man, everything again in any and all things, a Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, because that's just another thing, man. It's just like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. Getting attacked on all sides, man. Getting attacked on all sides, man. It's just like, man, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know. But one thing we do know for sure. The one thing we do know for sure is Yahweh Bashim Shai. Again, he stands undefeated. All right. And according to the accounts that we have, our records, man, the scriptures that we read about, hey, the Lord is just. All right. The Lord is just. All right. The Lord is fair. The Lord is about equity. You see? Again, man, because people, man, mind you, listen, we're not serving Esau. All right. Esau is just wicked. We're not serving Esau, man. As far as, the most high power. Yahweh Bashim Shai it's not like bitch ass E, man. All right, no, the power that we serve is truly about equity and justice. All right, he's fair, righteous in all his ways. And this is according to the accounts we read about. And don't be ashamed to put the Lord in remembrance of his word. Lord, you said you was going to do this, Lord. Hey, according to what we read, what you've given us and this special gift of faith, Lord, this, remember, oh Lord, don't be afraid to put the Lord in remembrance of his word. All right, because he left it here for us for a reason. As I read in Romans 15, he left it here for us for a reason. All right, because again, he's not physically here, as I read in St. John. All right, but we have these records. You see. And according to the records that we've got, hey, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he's undefeated. He's not going to just leave, it's not some prank call when it comes to Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right. When it comes to, constantly praying, talking to the Lord, seeking and depending on Yahweh Bashim Shai, it's not some, he's not going to leave you out there hanging like Esau, man. All right. So, just remember these things. All right. With all that being said, this is why, again, we have comfort. All right. In all of our distress, tribulation, we have comfort. In all the chaos, we have comfort in chaos. All right. So just remember that. All right. Romans 8. Romans 8:20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. So see, this is what, again, Yahweh Bashim Shai is teaching us. All right. All we have is the Lord. All we have is Yahweh Bashim Shai. That's all we need, man. All right. That's why when it finally gets to that point, comes to that point, because like I said, listen, I don't know. Sometimes, you think about Jacob's trouble, what I'm going to do, my family, this and that. But like these fake and phony Christians plagiarize what we believe in, right? One of the many things that they plagiarize is, hey, let go and let God, right? That's what they say, but they don't believe it. But we believe that, all right? Because again, in any and all things, man, listen, we don't know. We don't know. But hey, with that being said, as we are told, be still. Know that Yahweh Bashim Shai, he is for a reason. All right, so when, in those moments, I guarantee you, there's just an overwhelming feeling of comfort when, you just stop worrying and just, hey, Yahweh Bashim Shai's got it, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's out of my control. There's an overwhelming feeling of comfort when you just, hey, sit back and let the Lord be. All right, because like I said, man, hey, if you're the elect, you don't got a choice, anyways. The Wadi Yahweh Bashim Shai, there was no such thing as free will. Because, boy, if it was up to us, if it was up to me, man, it's in the Lord's hands. And it can't be in no better hands. So, hey, all we got is Yahweh Bashim Shai, the names, and the names to always lean back on, to always fall back on. You know, and not only that, you know, these people, man, they only call on who they ignorantly call God when they need something. No, man, just it doesn't have to be just because you're going through something. Just give the Lord His praise. Just give Him a little credit. You know, one thing that I've been learning is just to be more grateful, just more appreciative of things, man. You know, just being more appreciative, and the Lord loves that. You know, the Lord loves that. You know, just showing forth gratitude. You know, so hey, in all things, man, just Yahweh Shema Shai is the point. All right, everything is just becomes Yahweh Shema Shai. In everything, Yahweh Shema Shai becomes first nature. All right, you know, everything just becomes Yahweh Shema Shai, and it just becomes first nature in everything. You know, Yahweh Shema Shai. You see, so Lord, when this was edifying, all praises to Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully, like.